Okay, peeps, welcome to the wonderful, amazing world of Procreate. Okay, we're gonna get started in a minute. Let me just unleash unleash the beast. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Very nice. Okay, so let me get started. And yay! Okay, we're really starting at the beginning, so I'm just gonna kind of walk you through the first thing to do is you go to this icon here. This is the Procreate icon. This is your Apple Pencil. Okay, let me go to my gallery. Okay, so when you go onto Procreate, you're going to get something that looks like this. This is your gallery. Okay, in the corner here you see a little plus sign. You're going to click on the plus sign. All right, and you're going to see screen size. You're going to see all these things down here. All right, I'm going to try to make it a little closer to you so you can see it. Okay, it's going to say new canvas. So you can click on one. What I'm going to have you do is just make sure that your canvas is correct. We usually work, I usually like to work 8.5 by 11 inches, okay? So make sure it's in inches. So there's this little plus here where you can see with my Apple Pencil. I'm going to click on that, okay? Now this gives me a nice little menu here of what to do. It's on pixels. Pixels will be a lot, so we're going to go to inches, okay? And we're going to go here. We're going to click on this. And I'm going to go for, let's see, width, 8.5. Okay. And then I'm going to click on this here. And I'm going to go to 11 inches. Okay. Now, if you notice, my DPI says 300. That's about as low as you want to go. I have a maximum layers of 75. But you want your DPI, which I guess is dots per inch, to be quite a lot. Otherwise, it gets pixelated to get those little dot looking things. So this is my untitled canvas. I can title it, okay, by clicking here. And I'm just going to put beginning. Okay. For you guys, I'm going to want you, of course, to put your name and period number. Create. All right, so now I have my canvas, okay? So I can, with my hands, move it around, make it horizontal or vertical, okay? I'm going to make it horizontal just because I want to, for no apparent reason. Over here, it's kind of hard for you to see, but you have a bar that goes up and down. And if you notice, when I do that, there's a little dot that gets bigger and smaller. That's going to be the tip of your pencil. Whatever brush you use, that's going to be the width of it. This here goes up and down. This is opacity, which means see-throughness, okay, or lack thereof. You want it at high opacity right now, okay? So you don't really have to mess too much with opacity, but you might want to mess around with your pencil size, okay? Now, over here, you have a bunch of tools. You have a wrench tool. Let me hold it up a little bit so you can see it a little better. You have a wrench tool. You have kind of like a wand tool. You have what I call the S tool and the arrow tool, all right? We're going to get into those, and you're going to see what you can do with those magical things. But right now, let's just kind of get organized. So over here, you also have a bunch of things. You have a brush, a hand, an eraser, and you have a bunch of squares, which denotes your layers, okay? And then over here, you have a little ball of color, okay? When you click on that, you get you get a menu here, okay? So here are all the, I'm going to actually clear that. And here are all the colors I can choose from. Now you have two dots within the colors. One dot makes it darker and lighter, okay? So let me put this on red, and then you can see it. So look at this dot in the corner here, and that will show you the colors. So you see, as I move the inner circle around, it gets lighter and lighter. As I move it over here, it gets darker and darker. So that's your darkness and lightness, and here's your color. Okay, and you just move it around with your Apple Pencil, all right? So let's just go into purple, because why not? So now I have this color purple. Hey, it's a movie. and I can go darker and lighter with the color, okay? So now if I want to save that color, I can just tap on it and tap on this. Hold on, I'm supposed to do that, but it's not. Oh, because it's on history. I don't want history. I want a new one. Hold on one second. Let me get a new one going. Okay, so what I want to do is I actually want to make a new palette. This is like my little palette here. Those are my choices. So I just go to palettes over here, click, and look, I have a little plus sign. So I'm going to plus a palette. I'm going to create a new palette. Okay, and I'm just going to put that in there. I can name it. Okay, so I'll name it new. Okay. Oops, let me get that so it looks better. Delete, 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 delete. Okay, new. Okay, and that's it. Okay, done. Now I have a new palette. I'm going to go back to my disk right there. Boop. And now I have my new palette. I'm going to move it. Hopefully I can move it to the top, but I can't. Okay, so for instance, now if I click on this and I click on this, look, I got that color. So let's say I want green. Okay, so I'm going to put some green in there. I'm going to click on this and click on this, and I got my green. And then I can save all the beauteous colors that I like. I'm going to click on red, click on that. Isn't that cool? That's very awesome. I'm actually going to put a bunch of colors of an apple in there because that's going to be kind of what our first kind of work is going to be. So I'm putting a bunch of colors of green in. All right, I'm going to make it darker. So as you can see, I'm just moving the green around, trying to get some colors. But you know what? If I don't find them, I can always create them. All right, I don't know what I'm going to do with that purple, but hey, it's all good. I might go to a yellow. So you see, I'm just clicking and adding, and now I have all those colors in my palette. So the first thing we're going to, okay, so that now we know a little bit about color. These are your layers, okay? The background color will be the color of the whole canvas. Every time you add something new to Procreate, you want to add a new layer, okay? Every time. It's kind of a pain, and you're going to have to get used to it, but if you don't, bad things can happen. Now let's go to one of the favorite things in the world, which is your brush. You click on your brush. Oh my gosh, you have a brush library of thousands of brushes. You have sketching, inking, drawing, calligraphy, painting, artistic, airbrushing, textures, abstract, charcoals, blah, blah, blah. So many. What do you choose? It's so hard to choose. So eventually you're going to find your favorite things to choose. So in any one of these categories, you can see all kinds of different painting, for instance. You can get artistic. Airbrushing. Oh, it's a fun thing. We're going to airbrush a little bit. Don't worry. Textures. Abstract. I've actually used these things. Charcoal. Different kinds of charcoal. Elements. Spray paint. Okay, so as you can see, as you go down, you can get a lot of really cool things. So let me just show you really quickly. So if I go to sketching, I have right now Bonobo chalk, but let's say I want a 6B pencil. So I'm just going to do a little squiggly, and I'm going to want you to kind of learn how to do that too. And I'm going to make my lead a little bigger. But if I go on the side, look, it just looks like a pencil. Isn't that cool? I go on top, it's a little... So I can actually use the side of my Apple Pencil. So that's what it would look like if I used a pencil. Inking, I have a studio pen, which is a very good pen to use. Oh, you see, it's way too thin, so I'm going to make it a little bigger, okay? And you can press it and release, and if you can see, as you press harder, it gets thicker, right? Okay, so that's a really cool one to do. Drawing. Let's go to drawing. Okay, I'm on gloaming for some reason, but let's see how that works. Okay, so as you can see, my drawing kind of looks like charcoal, okay? Let's go to calligraphy. This is the one I usually use, the script pen, okay? Because I really like how it can go thin and thick. I just love it. And I'm just going to do like painting so you can get an idea. So here's the watercolor, okay? So I'm going to make this brush a little thicker. And as you can see, it looks like watercolor, and you can continue to add layers to it to make it darker, okay? So this just gives you an idea. So one of the first things you're going to do is play around with your, just play around with all these brushes and just have some fun with it because it's really fun. There's all kinds of really cool things. Like you can go to organic and get cotton and then, oops, I don't want to do that. And just all of a sudden you have cotton, okay? Or you can go to luminance. That's one of my faves. You go to light brush. Ooh, okay, so as you can see, there's like really no end. Now let's say I want to get rid of all this. So if I want to get rid of it, I just tap it with 2 fingers and it gets rid. Now if I hold my fingers down, it gets rid of the whole thing, okay? So you can just tap something with 2 fingers. Now you want to go back. There's a little arrow over here. It's like, no, I want it back. And you can just tap this and it'll come back, okay? But erasing it is like that, okay? Or, let me go here again. You can go to your eraser. And the eraser, if you notice, has its own set. So you can erase a certain way. But you see, I can just erase it like that too. That's kind of fun. All right. So let's begin with our first picture. And we're just going to do an apple, okay? So I'm going to go to my colors. And I'm going to choose a medium color because I'm going to do a little green apple. Okay. Now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to do the outline of it. Now here's a cool tool. Let's say I want something to be a complete circle. Oh, let me go back to a good tool here. I'm going to go back to my favorite, which is calligraphy script. Okay. Most people, when they're drawing and stuff, they like, when you're inking, they use the studio pen. And when you're drawing, later I'll show you how to use the 6B pencil, but let's go to just my favorite. Okay, so let's say I do a circle. Well, my circle's wonky, so I can put my finger on it. And look, it's a perfect circle, okay? Also, let's say I have a wonky circle. I can just hold it, and as you can see, it turns into a circle. But if you notice, that circle isn't exactly correct. So I can also go like this, hold it down, and then put my finger on it, and then it's a perfect circle, okay? So you can make perfect circles if you want. You can also make shapes that are perfect. So like if you have a square, all right, and if you notice I pressed my finger down. But we're going to get rid of this by magic. It's so cool. All right, so we're going to basically, I'm going to make this a little smaller. I'm just going to do the outside shape of an apple. Okay. All right, I'm making sure those lines connect. That's a pretty good apple. I'm pretty happy with that. Now, if I want to make it bigger or smaller, I take my fingers and I either spread them or I pinch them. And as you can see, I can make my screen bigger or smaller. You're going to need to know how to do that, okay? So instead of wasting time coloring in, I'm going to do one of my favorite things is I'm going to drag and spill. I'm going to tap this blue circle, and as you can see, here it comes. And you just put it on in the inside, and voila, you've got it filled with a color that you're looking for, okay? Isn't that cool? It's very cool. Now, I have the beginning of an apple. I want to kind of put some brown. I want to put a little bit of a, I'm not going to do that yet. I'm going to wait for the stick, okay? So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to what's called alpha lock it. So this is my first layer. The reason I'm going to alpha lock it is I'm going to mess around inside the apple a lot. And I don't want, so for instance, if I mess around, I don't want it to go over the edge. You know, I might be working on the edges here and I want the edges to look really good. So I'm going to alpha lock this little shape by going like that. Oop. Nope, not like that. Click on it. And then you see alpha lock is right here. You click on alpha lock, okay? Let me just make sure I did that. Don't do that yet. Alpha lock. Let me just make sure. Oh yeah, it's alpha locked. You can see there's like little squares behind it. Okay, so now if I mess with it, see how it doesn't go off the edge? So now I can do all kinds of really cool things within my apple without messing around. So there's many things, many ways to do this. So I'm going to teach you kind of a painterly way just in the beginning. I'll just use my script brush. And so usually things are darker on the edges and lighter in the middle, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is, just like I've taught you before with the egg and everything else, I'm actually going to darken the edge, okay, of my apple. It's a little dark. I might lighten it a little bit, see? So that's how I'm going to do that. Lighten it a bit. Okay. Ooh, I don't like that at all. So let me find my color again. Green. Let me see here. Darker green, darker green. Okay, let's see how this is. Okay, great. I like this one. So I don't really have to worry about it going off the edge. Isn't that cool? But there's going to be a little hole here, so I'm going to kind of do a little flip around here too, right? So there's going to be a little thing going on there. So I'm just going crazy here with this nice edge. I don't have to worry about it at all. Look at that. Isn't that easy? Now, I'm going to use my smush tool, which is the blending tool. I call it the smush. It looks like a finger, okay? Now, when you click on it, you can see the brushes. It has brushes too. So I usually use just like a medium brush, okay? And what this does is it smushes. It actually blends so easily. See, if you go on this like this, you see how I blend it by making those curly cues, just like anything else. It's just so cool. So I'm blending right now. I'm blending the dark and the light together so that I have a nice gradation. Isn't this cool? So much fun. So that's another tool I'd like you to learn how to use, is just the blend. Okay? So I'm blending, I'm blending, I'm blending. Because you don't want any edges on the inside, okay? So I'm just going to blend that up until I get it nice and blended. And you can see it's already going to look pretty 3D. Okay. Now, because it's lighter in the middle usually, okay? So yay. Now I'm going to go here and I'm going to choose this yellow, okay? And I might make it a little lighter. Now here's a cool thing. Let's say I want this color, this green color again, but I don't know where it is, and I can just put my finger on it, and this changes into that color, okay? Yeah, isn't that cool? So I'm going to go back to my yellow. Here it is. Make it a little lighter. And I'm just going to kind of put some highlights in there. It looks pretty light, but that's okay. And as you can see, I'm not really, spending a lot of time getting it perfect, because you don't have to. Okay, so I'm going to kind of make it yellow here like that. Okay. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay. Oopsie. All right. And guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to mush with my mush tool. Okay. And I'm going to blend that in. Okay. So I'm going to pause this so that you don't have to see me mush the whole time. You'll just see the magic at the end. Okay, so I've blended a lot, but I'm just going to give it a little more highlight here, just so it's a little lighter, and I might actually make it even lighter to give some little sparkle, how sometimes there's a little shine on it, okay? So I'm going to put a little shine there, and then I'm going to blend, okay? Blend. Just to give it some depth, okay? So basically, like I've taught you all the time, you start with your outline, fill it with your medium, go dark, and then go light, okay? Now, I'm not going to blend this completely so that it just loses everything. I'm just going to blend the edges first and see how that looks, okay? Yeah. All right. Not bad, not bad. I think I have to make it a little lighter in here to give it a little more roundness, okay? And I think I'm going to put a little more of this color too here. Okay. All right. Blend, blend, blend. Blending, blending, blending. And you see, I'm just having fun with it. And if there's something I don't like about it, just fix it. Okay. There we go. Oh, that apple's rocking my world. Yeah. Okay. So now I'm just going to do a little bit of a stem, but to put a stem on there, I'm actually going to change the layer because this is alpha locked, okay? So I'm going to add a layer. So you add plus, okay? Click on that. All right. Now I have another layer. So I'm going to go back here. I'm going to find some brown-ish. Okay. Here we go. And I'm going to put this layer on top here. This is the little stem little guy here. Okay. Ooh, beauty, beauty. Now I'm going to add a little lighter color here in the middle. So I just go in the middle to get the lighter brown. Okay. And here it is. Right here. Sweet. And now I'm going to smush it. I'm going to make it bigger so that it doesn't go over the thing when I smush it. If you notice, though, it kind of did. So guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to alpha lock it. I always do that. The same mistake every time. Alpha lock. Okay. Now I can mess around in it, see, and it doesn't go over the edge. But if you do notice, I did use a new layer, okay? Because when you add something new, you add a new layer. All right. So I'm happy with that. There's my apple. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to my first layer here. I think I'm just going to darken it a bit right around this area here. Just needs to be a little darker, okay? Yeah. Okay, and then I'm going to smush it. So this is what I'm going to want you to do first, and this is going to get you used to, you know, using this new technique. You always do an apple. Hey, at least I'm not making you do an egg, so be quiet. Now I'm going to add a shadow going over behind the apple, okay? So I'm going to add another layer, because if I'm adding something new, I'm adding a new layer, okay? So I've got layer 3 here. I'm going to put it in top. Okay, so let me show you how to do that. Press on it, and then you can move it on top there, okay? So I'm going to move it on top, and I'm going to do that layer. I'm going to do it a dark purple. Now, I want the layer to go behind the apple, so I'm going to kind of go something like that. Okay, I think that's a pretty good layer. Yeah, not bad. Do you notice how I did that? Let me do that again. First thing I did is I outlined it, and I'm kind of doing the shape I'm kind of looking for. Okay, and remember, you don't have to spend a lot of time filling things. You just move it over like that, and boop, you've got a layer. But unfortunately, as you can see, it's on top of the apple, and that sucks. So I'm going to go back to my layers. See my little apple layer? I'm going to press it and move it on top. There it goes. Nice. But of course now, I've got a problem, because as you can see, this layer here, the stem, is not showing. So I'm going to move this layer on top of that. Yay! Now I have all my beauteousness. I actually want to make another darker, a little darker here, shadow, because I'm just not happy with it. Make sure you're on the right layer. Okay. Let's see if this is going to work for me. Yeah. Okay. So just inside there, I'm just going to do a darker shadow. And you didn't see the back part of it, but it's there. There we go. I kind of like that. And I am going to actually, boop, just, oh no, that's the eraser tool. Sorry. I'm just going to smush it just a little bit. Just a little bit. So it smushes into the other layer here. Other thing. All right, now we got a white background. So I can go back to my layers and I can go to my background color. Okay. And I can choose all these different colors. Isn't that cool? I'm going to go to blue. Ooh, blue's not working that well, is it? Let's see how blue looks. That's kind of dark. Blue, blue, blue. I think I'm kind of liking that one. Okay. And then you just press done. And voila, you've got an apple. Okay? Doesn't that look great? Aren't you just happy you have an apple? That's your first piece of art that I'd like you to do, okay? I'd like you to learn how to, I'm not happy with that background. Hold on. Let me just make it. I liked it before when it was like reddish. Ooh, yeah. Okay, so let's see if I make it darker, how that looks. I don't know. Am I going to go pink? Yeah, I'm going pink. All right, there we go. Now we have our apple, and it looks delicious and appleicious, and we're awesome. So that is your first training on your iPad. So you've made an apple, and you just go back to gallery, boop, and there it is. It says untitled artwork right there. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to title it, and you can title it with your name. So put in your name and your period number, which for me is, I always just do that. Okay, and done. And now it's titled. Isn't that awesome? And you click on it, make it bigger or smaller. All right, so there's your first part of your iPad of learning Procreate. We haven't learned anything really over here yet. We've really concentrated on this area, and that's okay. That's the beginning, okay? So what I want you to go away with is knowing that this is your brush tool, and this is where all your brushes are, okay? This is your blending tool. This is your eraser tool, all right? I don't want to erase anything. These are your layers. Always add your layers. If you have something before, don't start barking. This is a perfect video, damn it. If you want something to go in front of something or in back of something, you just press the layer and you can move it up and down, okay? So that's your layers. And of course, we learned about color. Darkness, okay? And then the color itself, okay? We learned how to tap on this. Let me move this over. We learned how to tap on this and put it in our palette, all right? We learned how to tap on the circle and drag it over to the inside of a circle on your artwork, okay? So these are some of the things we should have learned today. And that's kind of the beginning of getting pretty good at Procreate. Our next lesson in Procreate is we're gonna make a universe. So much fun. Ah, you can't wait. I can't wait. It's gonna be fun. All right, guys. Yeah. All right. Take care. Bye.